Welcome back. Tomorrow, the country will remember the life and legacy of Martin Luther King Jr. It's a federal holiday marking the birthday of the civil rights leader. In commemoration of King's birthday and as a prelude to Black History Month, Macon-Bibb County Recreation held its 6th oratorical competition for high school students. Ramey Cohen spoke to some of the students who competed and a director about the importance of keeping Martin Luther King's vision alive.
Michael, Horton, and Henry Covington, two of the high school students who competed.
I think what's most important is what he said about equality for all and not just one group being on top of another, and that everyone is the same, everyone's equal, and no one's better than anybody else. And it's just, we're all in this together.
All the stuff that we're able to do, be in school with different races or go out and eat with different people in different communities, goes back to all the peaceful protests that happened then, and with him as the leader of the civil rights movement.
The prompt for the competition is taken from a portion of Dr. King's speech, reading "Riots are the language of the unheard." Both chose different protests in history that made a lasting impact on our society.
It said, what's the most significant protest in your country? And I wrote about the Black Lives Matter protests and about all the years it built up discrimination and mistreatment and about what that stuff really meant.
Covington chose the protests in Selma, Alabama that dealt with the Voting Rights Act.
Beat up by the state troopers and how it was televised, and how because of being televised, it allowed everybody across the country to realize what was going on in these areas was something that needs to be stopped.
Robert Walker, director of Macon-Bibb Parks and Recreation, wants to continue to make high school students aware of the civil rights movement.
We always talk about in our office about him being using nonviolence to portray his message, and that's something that we want to instill in our youth today.
It is very important to just remember that as we go on from today and tomorrow, to celebrate him and thank him for letting us come a long way.
In Macon, Ramey Cohen, 13 WMEZ News.
The first place winner, Caitlin Nelson, received a grand prize of $750. Only 3 students participated today, so Macon-Bibb plans on having all 3 share their speeches at the next scheduled commission meeting. Of course, there are plenty of ways Central Georgia is planning to honor Dr. King this week. Tomorrow morning, you can head to the Tubman Museum on Cherry Street for an MLK breakfast celebration. Bibb County School Superintendent Curtis Jones will be the keynote speaker. That goes from 8:30 to 9:30 a.m. Donations are encouraged. And you can head to Warner Robins City Hall tomorrow at 9 a.m. for a breakfast and bike road. The Houston County NAACP Chapter 5203 will host a day of service honoring Martin Luther King Jr. The bike ride will end at the Winning Church, where a service will take place. And in Baldwin County, an MLK Day ceremony will happen in Milledgeville called Where Do We Go From Here? The event celebrates the life and legacy of Dr. King. It starts at 11 a.m. in the Floyd L. Griffin Jr. Black Heritage Plaza. The Southern Christian Leadership Conference will join NAACP Chapter 5169 to host the ceremony with guest speaker Reverend Dr. B.L. Warren from Mount Sinai Baptist Church.